What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the Mets PostGame Show right here on the channel and, of course, on X as well. We got a special guest once again for the post game, and that is our boy Hector from Washington Heights. Hector, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Thanks for having me once again. How are you?
As good as I can get. This this team, I tell you, you know what? What's frustrating is it's not the 8-0 losses that piss me off. It's these type of losses where we had opportunities to win the ball game. Like the Mets, they said it last night on the broadcast. Out of the 48 games we played, more than half they lost either a 1-run or 2-run ball game. So they continue to play close games. 34 of their ball games out of 48 have been 1 or 2 run ball games that they either won or lost, mostly lost. And that's what's frustrating because it takes 1 or 2 hits during a game that can actually, and Hector will be back in a second, it takes 1 or 2 hits in a game, in a close game, that can decide a victory. And it hasn't happened for this team. And look, we were going back and forth, me, you, Hayden, Chris, on the group chat, right? All we keep on talking about, like you scored 6 runs today, you should be able to win. Like that's a fact. But the fact of the matter is that look, you know what you're getting from Hadrian Hauser. You're not going to get a great performance from him, so you know you got to score runs. They did, but you know what? The bullpen gave up a couple of runs today. Guys that are usually pretty damn good, like Diekman, gave up that big 2-run homer as well, which didn't help. The Mets got it within a run, then got it within a run again, and then they couldn't get over the top once again. And look, there was a lot of balls they hit hard today that were right at people. There's nothing you can do about that. So, heck, what do you take from this game? Because we did see a lot of good at bats, and you talked about Lindor in a group chat, and I think it's important to uh, have a little bit of positive to this game, except that we didn't get the win. Right? There was a lot of good at bats from guys that we were looking for good at bats. But what is your take on the game and a couple of the hitters in the lineup?
Nah, I mean, listen, it just honestly, the take of the game is frustration because of what you just laid out, right? We actually score 6 runs. We see guys get a couple of hits. The guys at the bottom of the line, I'm excited when I see Vientos. Vientos hits a home run. It's a double. McNeil, who's one of my guys who has me fed up, has a good game, actually hits a home run, a couple of balls to the wall. And you don't want to waste things like that. And then you have Lindor with the 2 hits, who I'm surprised didn't hit one out because I thought from that first at bat, I loved what I saw.
Yep.
He just looked poised. The way he took the pitches, you know what I'm saying? I think he might have even gone even 1 and 2, 0 and 2. I can't remember, but there was a breaking pitch that he took inside that he has been swinging at and missing
Yep.
or popping it up or whatever the case may be. But the way that he took it and stayed back, I was like, okay, that's what I'm talking about right here. So then he gets that first hit, and I missed the second hit. I don't even know where it was, but that first hit to the opposite field, it's like, okay, now that's the approach. That's the approach. 'Cause I'm not talking about you got to hit a home run every time or anything like that. But that's the approach that you need to have. Take what's given to you. So
Yep.
that's my biggest takeaway. Hoping that maybe he's figured it out. I mean, like, listen, the guy's a good player. We criticize him because we want him to be better. We criticize the core and everything. But as long as they're here, I want him to perform. Um,
Yep.
but besides that, the main takeaway is like, man, we just keep showing signs of a bad team, right? We finally
Yep.
get hitting. We don't get the pitching. The pitching, which has been what we've been getting most of the year, especially from the bullpen. So that's a little disheartening.
Yep. Yeah, and it's kind of annoying because you know a little bit better pitching and a little bit better hitting here or there in certain spots win you ball games, and I think that's the most frustrating thing. Look, if we were getting blown out in games, there's nothing you can do about that, right? It really doesn't matter, and I think that's the important thing that we have to take with this team is that they're just not good enough or they're just good enough to keep the game close, but they're not good enough to win those close ball games, which Alan said in the chat are signs of good teams. Like in 2022, there's a lot of the same players that we were talking about, especially the core, that we were winning those close games. Whatever the reason was, we got that close game. We won those close games. This year we're not. And again, that's why we're 6 games under 500 because of the fact that we're not doing the job. Because in the close games, like something happens either pitching side, most of the time it's been the offense, but it's either the pitching or the offense that doesn't come through enough in the game in a close game for us to lose the ball game. So that's the frustrating thing. And you're 100% right with the at bats. Lindor has been taking better at bats. That was the idea of putting him in a leadoff spot. In a leadoff spot, you tend to get more fastballs. You tend to get, you tend to have a different mindset at the plate, taking more pitches. And you've seen that from Francisco Lindor, who is prone in the number 3 spot, or whenever he moved to the number 2 spot every now and then, to swing earlier in counts when you really didn't have to. I think that's a good sign from Francisco Lindor, and that's the idea of putting him leadoff, is to work the count, get more pitches, see more pitches, not just to benefit himself but benefit the team. Again, you score 6 runs, you need to win the ball game, and it didn't happen again. So, and look, this is an Indians team that was struggling offensively, but you see the difference, right? You look at a lot of these guys' numbers on the Guardians, they're not very good. I brought that in the group. I said that in the group chat yesterday, right? Heck, look at their averages, right? Their RBIs aren't nothing to go after, except for Jose Ramirez. Everybody is, mediocre at best. But they seem to get the big hit when they need to get the big hit, even a guy that bats 175. So it's not like the players are better than some guys on the Mets. It's just that they play the game of baseball, put it that way.
But you know what it is too. As good as our pitching has been and our bullpen has been, theirs is better, and theirs
Yeah.
doesn't give games away. Because after you mentioned that in the chat yesterday, Gary Cohen gave out a stat about their bullpen, and once they take a lead, it's pretty much over. You know what I mean? So yeah, they win a lot of games, 2-0, 2-1, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
But they have the bullpen to be able to do it. And like you just said, they get the big hits. We saw it today. They get a hit by pitch. I forget what happened next. Boom. Next thing you know, they got 2 runs. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And on the other hand, I mean, up to a certain point, because then we started scoring, but we were seeing the Mets have opportunity after opportunity again and not be able to score. So, yeah, the numbers may not be there for them or whatever, but it doesn't really matter, right? As long as you win ball games. Now, maybe in
Yeah.
the long run, it's not sustainable or whatever the case may be, but as long as you have the bullpen to shut it down, I think it's always sustainable.
Well, that's the other thing too, because like they've been so good, it's hard to kill the bullpen now, because especially for the Mets, because they've been probably the best part of this team, and it's unfortunate that now they're kind of slowly breaking down. I wouldn't say breaking down, but breaking down a little bit. And people are bringing it up in the chat. You don't realize how much you miss Rarely until you're using Diekman in a lot of spots you probably would have seen Rarely now, and I think that's something to bring up, that I think Deron bring up, and I believe somebody else brought up as well in the chat. Yeah, exactly. And you don't think about Rarely until Diekman's the only lefty in your bullpen, and you're bringing him in bigger spots where you would have probably seen Rarely in that spot. So it comes back to, like, yes, the depth that the Mets have in the bullpen is great, but when you consistently lose guys like Raley, who was very important to this Mets bullpen this year, and you saw that two lefty combination in the bullpen that was badass, that was working for the Mets. And look, you throwing in Diekman. Look, that ball that I forgot who hit it. I think it was Fry who hit that home run. That was a pop up. He got that in the jet stream and it took it out. Like, you tip. I don't even wouldn't even tip your cap. I feel like on a colder night, it's in the ballpark, because even Diekman didn't think that ball was going out. So again, I don't want to crush the bullpen, but they need to be better in that spot. Like, your team, your offense is finally giving you opportunities to come back in this ball game, and twice you'll see it in the fifth and sixth inning. We score 2 runs, get it down to 1, they score right back. Again in the sixth, same thing, down by 1, they give a 2-run lead right back, and then you try to get the game back here, and it's too late. And the Mets, and this is the problem that I have. And look, the Mets are one of the best teams in baseball, scoring runs from 7 through the ninth inning.
Yeah.
Their problem, usually one first inning through the fifth inning, they're absolutely dreadful. And offensively, Hector. And I think they have to start scoring earlier in ball games because, again, I said this 100 times. You give your pitchers no chance for mistakes. They have to be perfect in those first 5 innings because they don't score. They score late in the ball games, but it ends up being too late. Heck,
Yeah, and I wonder why that is. I don't understand, right? If you're
oh,
prepared for anything, it's the starting pitcher, right? When you
yep,
have your pregame meetings and all that other stuff, that's who you're focusing on. Yeah, you touch on the bullpen, who you may see tonight, who you think is available, and all of that stuff. But the main focus is on the starting pitcher, and you should be able to come out there ready to attack this guy. And like you said, for whatever reason, we seem to be able to score later in the games, which I guess that's a good trait by itself, but you want to be able to try to combine the two. And even today, I mean, with this guy, I don't know if you saw earlier today, this morning, I was like, maybe the Mets today, I'm talking about pregame meetings and all that, but I was like, maybe the Mets today should scrap all that stuff. Forget about the hitters meeting and all that, and just go out there and play old school baseball. Just find a pitch to hit, and let's go. You know what I'm saying? Do what bring you here. And when I saw, I don't know how last minute or how early they knew that the pitching change was being made from Carrasco to this dude. I was like, you know what? This might turn out to them doing that without them doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because they may not
yeah.
have time to go back and try to prepare for this guy and let's talk about what he had. No, just hey, new pitcher. Let's go out there and play ball. You know what I'm saying? Um, and they finally were able to get to him a little bit. But yeah, I don't know what I don't understand what is it with this team and that not being able to score early now. So different than 2022 when
Oh man,
most of the time they were up in the first inning, a couple of runs.
they
You know
couldn't
what I'm
they
saying?
couldn't add insurance runs late in games, but they scored a ton early.
Right,
Crazy
right.
thing. I
Unreal.
it's so many things, heck, and and it's a lot of different things. Like, look, Easy just said, like, as soon as you give the pitchers a lead, they give it right back. Yeah, but that doesn't rarely happen. It rarely happens that this team has a lead and they
Well,
give
that's
it
true.
up. I
That's
mean, besides that game in Miami, right? There wasn't many. Like, we keep on going back to that Diaz blown 4-run lead, but that hasn't happened a lot. We have been always trailing and fighting back later innings where it's very hard, especially a team that is not a big home run hitting team, to get 4, 5, 6 hits in a row to try to come back in a ball game when he's down 2 or 3 runs. Like today, right? They hit a couple of home runs, and they were 1-run, 2-run shots. But you know what? That home run needed to be with 2 men on, or 3 men, or bases loaded. That's when we needed to hit the home runs. It seems like we hit a lot of inconvenient home runs. Guess who brought that up? Hector did. He
true.
brought that up. And you're absolutely right when you brought that up. I think that was on the roundtable. You brought that the Mets hit. Look, they're middle of the pack in home runs. They're hitting a decent amount of home runs, more than last year actually. The problem is they hit them at inconvenient times. Not that they're down by 10 or down or up by 10. They hit the home runs. They hit the home runs either leading or trailing. But it seems like they're hitting a lot of 1-run, 2-run home runs when they're
Yeah.
down by 4 runs, or they're, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't really, it feels like you're getting closer, but that when they're up, when there's 2 men on to hit a 3-run homer, they might get a base hit. But when you need that 3-run jack, when you're down by 3, it seems like they'll hit that 2-run homer to
Only
get down.
TJ Stewart had the 3-run jack.
Yeah, it's crazy. They hit those inconvenient home runs, and it's so like Jeff McNeil. You know how nice it would have been if Jeff McNeil hit that home run to take the lead. We
Yeah,
would have probably won that game. That
yeah.
that, that I'm telling you, that rejuvenated the bench. You see when McNeil hit that home run, that bench went crazy.
Of course, of course. They're happy for him as much as we
Yeah,
talk and all that stuff. They're gonna be happy for each other, and they know he grinds and it gets to him or whatever. So they just happy also that shit he's not gonna come in here and start slamming things slamming things around. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But yeah, the solo home run, it drives me crazy. I don't want to get on the dude, but JD Martinez 2 days in a row, bro. You start out the game with a nice base hit, boom. Then you come up the next time with men on base. Give me the same hit, dude.
yeah.
You know
I
what I
know.
mean? And today it was like two, maybe three times that he came up with men on base
He
with a
left five
chance.
men left on base. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
lot. Yeah,
five.
five. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's the other thing too, right? Like JD Martinez is about what 330, 325. Yeah, it's
Oh,
great, but like you know what? I mean, look, times when he gets the hits, there's nobody on most of the time too. That sucks. But like when you have the opportunities,
yeah,
man,
but but that's what I'm saying.
we
That's what I'm
got you
talking
for a
about.
reason. We got you to be a run producer. But yeah, it's ah,
Yeah, but it figures right. It's like he's fitting right in with the Mets. Anywhere else, he probably gets those hits. You know what I'm saying, with men on base. But now on the Mets, we don't do that. He's like, oh no, let me fit in here
yeah,
and not get those hits. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's doing well, he's doing
yep.
well. Again, I don't want to criticize him. You like you say, he's batting three and change, whatever it is. But it's like, damn, dude, can I get a hit here when you got a couple of guys on? Just one. I'm just asking for one. I'm
Yeah,
asking you to get a hit every time. I had somebody respond to I posted like, oh, I see this movie from JD last night. You know what I mean? Because I said the same thing last night. Like, damn, JD, like, we need that hit right here. And somebody's like, oh, he's betting 300, right? That which means he's gonna fail 7 times out of 10. Like, ah,
yep,
really, really? Like, come on. Does he have to fail all 7 times in 2 games?
yeah, yeah. I know, man. Like it's like
Ah,
it shows you how close they actually are, though, right? Like where if they like it really like I'm gonna do this probably over the next 2 days. Check all the games that were like that ended in close games where we lost a lot of 1-run games, 2-run games, and it's been a lot of them. And again, a couple of hits, a couple of good pitching outings here or there, is the difference. And you can consider that signs of a bad team or a mediocre team, or it could be a signs of a good team. So it, man, like, and you know what? Easy brother, he's like, yeah, we're nitpicking, yeah, because that's all we can do. We have to nitpick because it's little things that could have won us the game today, right? If JD Martinez comes up with first and second, and instead of grounding out or striking out and puts the ball in play, or hits that base hit that he hit earlier in the game, we're talking about a different ball game most likely. So, but if you look, look, Francisco was 2 for 5. Pete Alonso was 1 for 4. I mean, Lindor should have had 4 hits today. The way he hit the ball hard.
yeah.
Alonso too had a couple of hard hit balls. Like Brandon Nimmo had 3
Yeah,
Ks.
but on that, because who was it? Someone here, oh, M Easy, my guy M Easy, yo man. Shout out to everybody in the chat too. But my guy M Easy says, "Am I nitpicking if I criticize Pete's last at bat? He reached for a bad pitch and then hit into a double play. You know what, M Easy? No, that's not
No,
nitpicking because you know what? That happened to be an important at bat. That's where we need you to come through. Even
yep,
if you had a guy in a hit early on in the game. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that's nitpicking. I think that's somewhere where you want to have a better at bat. And I didn't see the pitch. I was, trying to get ready and stuff like this, so I missed exactly where the pitch location was. But nah, I don't think that's a bad idea at all. My guy Darren, uh, talking about that. When the Mets have bases loaded, the advantage goes to the opposing pitchers unless Guillaume is pitching, which is incredible, right? You would think bases loaded, the pressure's on the pitcher, man. He got to get you out. He
yep.
has nowhere to put you, and it's true, man. It seems like more often than not, the Mets put all the pressure on themselves. It's crazy. But yeah, I just wanted to shout those two guys out in the comments and everybody else up in here. I saw my guy Junior's up in here too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, and yeah. And listen, nitpick Pete Alonso because look, we can continue to talk about everybody else. You want to talk about JD Martinez, want to bring up Lindor, but you know what? Pete Alonso comes up with just as many people on base as well, and you got to get the job done. I'm sorry if you want a $200 million contract, right? You have to do that job in that spot. Like how many? I'm sorry, I am not confident in a big spot that Pete Alonso's coming through. And when you supposedly want to get paid like a top 10 player, you got to have confidence that that guy's going to come through. You know how confident I was that Jose Ramirez was going to come through in that spot when he hadn't been on base?
Yeah.
Right? I don't feel that confidence with Pete Alonso. I'm sorry. You could be
But
the
it's
biggest.
not just Pete though. What about Lindor? I don't feel like
I agree. I agree. I agree. But here's the thing, right? I heard crickets for a while today with Pete Alonso, right? Like that was a huge spot for Pete Alonso right there, hitting into that big double play. Like that was a huge spot right there. Like, and that
No,
was
yeah.
when we had the momentum coming back. So look, again, look, I
Well,
want Pete Alonso to be here, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys and say I feel confident when Pete Alonso comes up to the plate in a big spot. I'll be out of my fucking mind thinking I have confidence in that.
but
I have more confidence in Tyrod Taylor in a big spot than Pete Alonso, and that's a
well,
problem.
I was just gonna say, who do you have confidence on this team? Maybe besides Brandon Nimmo, but before that, shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, CP, who's up in the chat.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
CP, brother. Unfortunately, another L, my brother, another L, and we scored runs. You would have liked the hitting approach today. I tell you
Yeah.
that much. You
You would have
wasn't
loved
able to
that.
watch, but you would have liked it today. But at
Yeah.
least to a certain extent, to a certain extent. Um, but isn't it funny? I mean, again, and obviously the bottom of the lineup is a little bit different, right, with the names that are down there. But once again, we had how many hits total? Sheesh, it was a lot of hits. About
11
10
hits.
hits, 11 hits, and two, four, five, six came from 7 through 9.
Yep. Again, the supporting cast. Again,
Oh, 6 through 9. I'm sorry.
if it wasn't for the supporting cast, heck,
But that's what I'm
this
saying, though.
team
The
would have
supporting
this
cast.
team would have
But
15 wins.
But hold on, Rob. Hold on, Rob. Let's look at who's in the supporting cast today, just because they're in 6 through 9, though.
Doesn't matter.
Marte, Marte, Vientos, McNeil, and then Anito, of course, right? So Marte and McNeil kind of like McNeil definitely kind of like part of the core, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. The
Yeah.
bottom of the lineup, it seems to be getting it done more often than not for whatever reason.
This has been the whole season, though. That's the
No, of
problem.
course, of course.
Look, if the supporting cast was mediocre like they should be, we would have 15 wins this year. We would be bordering around like people jumping off the bridge. Like seriously, that's how bad it would be. But because
But
of the supporting cast being so look, the supporting cast has been better than expected all year, and it's saving more criticism from the core that they would be getting if this team didn't have 21 wins right now, because it would be a lot worse and it would be deserving. Even if it is deserving now, but they would be getting killed from more people who are still shying away from certain criticism from certain players.
no, no, absolutely, man, absolutely. It's no, nobody's excused or anything like that. And it's unfortunate, right? It sucks because there's a lot of guys that if the team as a whole was performing better, like we would be talking so much more highly of them. And the truth is that the pieces that Stearns bring in wouldn't be looking so bad because they have been decent.
Well, that's
Tyrone
the thing.
Taylor.
The guys Stearns brought in have been doing their job. The rotation for the most part, right? The bullpen for the most part, and all the supporting cast that he brought in, the Taylors, right? He even brought back up Vientos and giving him back a chance, right? That's something that wasn't done last year, right? Tomas Nito. People couldn't wait to get rid of him. Yet Tomas Nito's been the hottest hitter on the team besides JD
Yeah, but
Martinez.
I'm more focused on the guys that he added, like really, really added from the outside, like the Harrison Bader,
Bader, Taylor,
The
right? Those
Tyrone.
guys, like really good.
Yeah, yeah, but because of the way the year's going, it's not gonna matter. And I kept saying it, and I said it before too, I said it all spring training. He put out a challenge to the core of this team
Yep,
and
he
said
did.
show me, show me. I have an opinion. I'm pretty sure in his head he said, you know what? As an executive in this league, I have an opinion on all you guys. I have a book on all you guys, but it's from the outside looking in. Now, I don't know what that opinion is, right? But I'm pretty sure it's a favorable opinion of Francisco Lindor. It's a favorable opinion of a Brandon Nimmo. It's a favorable opinion of a Jeff McNeil, so and so. Now, how favorable it is, I don't know. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? We saw the rumor, whatever the hell it is, the report, or you heard today on BT and Sal, they had Martino on there plugging his fucking Yankee book. But he talked about, I think it was him, talked about how sometime in the transition or whatever, Billy Epler suggested to Stearns, yo, we should trade Pete Alonso. And David Stearns said, no, we're not going to trade Pete Alonso. So he must have a value and opinion of him. You know what I'm saying? That's a little favorable. but it's all from the outside looking in. So he put out the challenge to these guys and said, "Yo, I'm gonna add some solid pieces. If you guys perform,
We'd be
we
better.
will be better." And so
Well,
far, they're failing that challenge.
that's the thing, right? Stearns gave an opportunity because he could have easily came in here and says, "F you guys, I'm doing what I gotta do." But no, he gave everybody a chance. And this goes for McNeil, Alonso, Lindor, Nimmo. Even though Nimmo and Lindor got long-term deals here, right? That doesn't mean they're 100% bulletproof for getting moved if that they find a way to do so. Right? They gave them opportunities to do so. Again, it's 48 games into the season. But again, I said this before. They got about 44 games left until the deadline. That's how many games they have left to prove. Because August and September doesn't matter because you might not even be on this team at that time. So the fact of the matter is, you gotta do it within over the next month and a half because if you don't, you're gonna be on the next flight out of Queens. It's just that simple. And like you said, heck, Stearns gave these guys a chance. He gave Pete Alonso a chance. Now, if David Stearns did offer him that extension, if that rumor is true, that means David Stearns was willing to bite the bullet, even though he probably
I don't
didn't
think it was
want.
Stearns though. I think that extension was last year, so I don't think that was the off. I could
Yeah,
be
but
wrong.
you know what? I have a feeling that David Stearns and Billy Epple were talking this whole time. There was a lot
Oh
of
well,
rumors of that.
that's
Yeah,
what, no. I
yeah,
thought that the whole time the trade
but you
deadline.
know
I
what I
thought he
mean.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought he
right.
was puppeteering the trade deadline
Yeah,
for sure.
well, that's what I'm saying. 'Cause I don't think Billy Epler would be that smart to make those moves at the trade deadline like he did last year. That has David Stearns written all over it. I'm
Right.
sorry, it really does. So, listen, you gave this core an opportunity. Within 48 games, they haven't done their job. And you know what?
Not an opportunity, Rob. A challenge. I don't see it as an opportunity, a
Correct,
chance, a
correct.
challenge.
Yeah.
Show me something, and I'll add it to the deadline. You know what I mean?
When,
Show
when
me something, and I'll build around you guys going
yep,
forward. You know, whatever one of these young guys I feel are worthy enough to keep. Because I also something I keep saying to, been having these conversations back and forth. You know what I mean? And, I might have said it to you in the chat. A good organization, a good GM knows who to sell and who to keep. Knows when to do it too. That's important. That's
yep.
important. You know what I'm saying? So
And
again,
you know what?
go ahead.
As much as we don't like it or might not like it, the people who we might trade, some of us or a lot of us might not be happy with who we moved at the deadline if that comes to that point. But
What I say to you, Rob, about a different topic. What I say to you in the chat. It doesn't matter.
it
We can
doesn't matter.
scream and
I don't
holler,
care.
right? We're just fans. We have opinions.
Yep.
If they have conviction, make the move, whatever it is. And when it plays out, guess what we'll say? We were wrong,
Correct.
but if it works out in a good way and they were right, we'll be happy.
Yep.
Now,
And listen,
it's when it
David
doesn't work out.
if David Stearns has the cojones to trade Pete Alonso at the deadline,
Would you stop?
how can you get mad at a guy who has 100% conviction, like you said, to make that move because he believes, regardless of what you, Joe Smo, the Met fan around the corner, he believes that it's the right decision for the organization, short term and long term. How can you how can you get pissed off at a guy like that? Because if
Well,
it works,
listen, we're fans though, Rob. You know we're gonna get pissed.
no, I
Maybe not
agree,
at him, at the
agree, agree.
situation. You know what I mean?
But
Like how we let Pete go, home girl.
I'm gonna tell you right now. But heck, if he's right about that and the trade works out, even if the
But
trade doesn't work out with the prospects, but it makes the team better somehow because you allocate the money to two other players instead of Alonso, right? And it
that's
works
gonna
out.
take time though, Rob. It's gonna take time to find that out.
But it
Maybe
might
two
not
years.
though. It might not though because this is not baseball of the '90s or the early 2000s where you get rid of three or four players and you're in complete rebuild. The Mets aren't going through a complete rebuild. You can't have a $340 million shortstop and $175 million or left fielder now in Nimmo, and tell me that you're going to go through a complete rebuild through their best years, their
No,
prime
no, of
years.
course,
They're
of
not going to
course,
do that. For
of
everybody
course
who
not.
believes, who keeps saying, "Oh, they're going to rebuild until 2027, 2028." They are not going to waste money on Lindor and
Well,
Lindor.
if this evaluation comes up and he says, you know what, F all these dudes. And I didn't sign none of these dudes. Not Lindor, not Nimmo, not Diaz, not nobody. I'm moving anyone and everyone I can move. And I mean everyone, including
I agree.
everybody's boy Lindor. You know what I'm saying? And listen, don't ask me all the money. That's not my job. It's their job to figure it out. He's the genius. And where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cliche, but it's a true cliche. If they really want to do it, they can figure out how to do it. And if they do the evaluation and they say, you know what? It's been quite a few years already of this pretty much the score. This is not gonna work. We have some guys coming up. There's some guys that we're looking at in the draft,
I
international,
agree.
whatever. We can get it done in 3, 4 years. This is what we're gonna do.
Look,
Again, we can
if
scream and holler, but if it
yeah, oh,
works, it works.
listen, if Nimmo and Lindor, right, say, listen, I don't want to go through my prime years through a rebuild. If that's what you're gonna do, I want to be out of here. We'll figure out a way.
I
Look,
don't give a damn what they say, Rob. It's not up
no,
to
no, no,
that.
I understand that. I understand that. But Lindor has a no trade clause, and I believe Nimmo has one too. So they have to
Honest
agree
question,
this.
honest question, honest question, honest question. Right now, the way things are going, you don't think if they came to the door and said, "Yo, dude, we, we think it's probably best to move on right now." You don't think
You
you'd be
know
like, you
what's
know what? Yeah, but
funny?
just said he might just give him a list. Like, you know what? Get
You
these
know
four
what's funny?
teams.
Here's what I think. People might not like this, but as much as people hate Lindor, and I'm gonna put Nimmo in this mix, even though everybody likes Nimmo, I think Nimmo and Lindor would actually stick it out because
They might.
I don't think they're the ones that would shy away from trying to be the ones to be the main guys to bring up the young guys and start winning. I see Alonso as the one who will run away because he already turned down an extension, which a guy who we're watching right now, and Jose Ramirez took a very team friendly deal to stay in Cleveland where everybody thought he was out of his mind.
Okay, but Lindor didn't do that though.
No, no,
So
but yeah,
let's not
that's
just
different.
hold that.
That's
Let's
different
not just hold
because
that against Pete.
Cleveland
Like
traded him.
Pete's not the only
No,
guy that never took a
no,
team
no,
friendly
that's
deal.
different though. Hector, that's 100% wrong because Cleveland wasn't paying Lindor. That's why they traded him.
No, no, hold on. They offered him an extension, Rob. He turned it down. He wanted more, right? And what
Agreed,
I'm saying
agreed.
is, let's not act like Pete's the only guy that's never taken a team friendly deal. Like these guys do it all the
No,
time. Now,
no, I'm not
I want to
asking.
see
I'm
it.
not
I
asking
like when a guy
Pete.
does it,
I'm not
or a
asking for a
fair
team friendly
deal, a
deal.
fair deal.
No, I'm not asking for a team friendly deal. I think
Yeah,
the
yeah,
player
a
should
fair
get paid.
deal, a fair deal, whatever,
Yeah,
a fair
but
deal.
but that extension, if that's true, that's a fair deal in my opinion. That's a pretty good
Okay,
damn deal.
it's a
But
fair
but
deal, but
but
it's also looked at as a little team friendly. You know what I'm saying? It's what the
I
team
don't even think
wants.
no 7 years is not team friendly at all in my opinion. Not for a 30-year-old player that's going to be 30
I,
years old. I don't think so.
I
But
get it.
but look, I'm all for players getting paid. Like get every penny you can because your last at bat could be your last at bat. With a career-ending injury. Like I would never tell a player not to get every penny possible because these owners are a little cheap when they need to be. But don't tell me you want to be in New York and it seems like everything you're doing from that moment you've been saying that is hiring an
But
agent that we know is an asshole and tries to get rape every penny from every team, even if it's the team he wants to go to. Because he did it this year with a lot of his.
again, but why is Pete the worst guy in the world? Because he has fucking Boris. We all would love to get Juan Soto. Who does he have? He has Scott Boris. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
Well,
understand.
my point with Pete Alonso is that I think that if he has the opportunity, or he will, I don't think he will stay. I feel like he would be the first one to jump ship when he has the
That's not.
opportunity.
But how? What is the jumping ship if they're not? If
Well,
Lindor
okay,
wouldn't have
okay.
got his
Tim,
three,
let me ask
his
you something.
$1 more than
No,
whatever
no,
the
no.
hell whoever.
How about this? How about a team like the Cubs, right? Because we've been hearing the Cubs for like 3 years now. Say the Chicago Cubs give him 8 years, $200 million, and the Mets offer him the same thing, but he goes to Chicago.
He's not gonna do that. Come on,
I
Rob.
think
He's
he
not gonna
will.
do that.
I think he
He's
will. I think
he's
he
not
will.
gonna because he's not gonna do that.
I think
If
he
they
will.
give, if it's the same thing, why would he do that? If he really, if he did that, then I'd be like, you know what, he never wanted to be here. And I'd be,
Well,
you
you
could,
know what?
You could
He should
clip
do
this shit.
if
Everybody
he
in
does
here's a
that.
witness. You know what I'm saying? But I
If he does that.
guarantee you, if it's the same deal, no way. No way.
If he does that, and he comes back to the Mets and takes the same deal, man, I would be praising him to the high heavens because
But
that's a guy who wants
okay,
to be here.
but does that make it a good deal?
No, no, because I want to give him $200 million.
Okay,
I'm
so
not going to
you know
just
what I'm saying? So like,
but
at the
that's
end
the
of the
thing.
day,
But that has nothing to do with me. Like I don't care that Lindor got $340 million because that's irrelevant to me. It's what you're doing now, regardless
so
of the
why do
money.
you care that Pete turned down 7 for whatever the hell he turned down?
Because of the fact that I don't think he's going to get more than that.
Okay, but
I
so he shouldn't try because you don't think? Yeah, you
no
know what I'm
no
saying?
no no. But you know what? You don't think Jose Ramirez could have got a hell of a lot more?
Possibly, but he chose not to. That was his
Okay,
choice, though.
I agree. I agree. No, it's their choice. But you just talked about Lindor turning down a deal and seeing if he can get more. Nobody can get
No,
more
no,
and took it. But Pete
because
Alonso.
I'm just giving it as an example.
No,
Like,
I agree.
yo,
I agree. I agree. I agree with you. Fact of the matter is that we'll see if Pete Alonso really wants to be here. It's just a fact.
no, no,
And
and
I
we'll
don't think
see
he
if
really does.
we'll see if the Mets really want him here too.
Well, it might be another
I
DeGrom
mean,
situation.
listen, I guess we could argue that the argument can be made that they showed that they wanted him here with a fair deal. Yo, it's funny because I see Sanders here says, "Yo, trade Alonso to the Cubs for Christopher Morel and Cade Horton." Wasn't the rumored trade or whatever? Didn't it involve Christopher Morel? And Met fans were like, "Are you crazy? Wait, Christopher Morel? Who the hell is Christopher Morel?" And now he's doing pretty damn good. I think the Cubs wouldn't make that trade right now.
They would, yeah, honestly, yeah. I mean, it is going to be interesting. Look, I hope the Mets are in it by the deadline because I really don't want to be talking about trading our homegrown guys. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Like, I really don't. As much as I kill Pete Alonso and Jeff McNeil and was not the biggest fan of Brandon Nimmo, I don't want these guys to leave. I want them to succeed here. This is the last thing I want them to do is play like shit, and then we have to trade them because we're not in contention. Like that would be demoralizing to a fan base that already doesn't show up to Citi Field now. Imagine Pete Alonso not being in the ballpark and being on
No,
another team.
it's gonna be ugly. But if the team starts winning, everybody will forget real quick. My guy Steven here says, "What if Pete goes to Tampa or Florida?" That I actually mentioned that to a buddy of mine. Like, yo, what if we take
They're
the
not.
hometown discount and actually goes to Tampa? Like, you know what? Screw everything. And Tampa says, you know what? Let's bring the hometown guy here. You know, we already screwed up with Wander, whatever the hell his name is. They
Okay,
show
yeah.
some. They actually gave him some money. Oh man, he screws up. But you know what? Let's give it to the hometown guy, the goofy dude, and we know he ain't gonna get in trouble. And he says, you know what? I'll go back home for 160. You know, whatever the hell it is. You know, or 130 for 5 years or some bullshit like that. I don't even know what those numbers are like, but yeah, I wouldn't. That wouldn't surprise me. The Marlins, I don't know. I don't know what the hell the Marlins are doing. So I
Yeah.
don't. I would.
Well,
I,
well, how about this silly idea, right? You know who needs a first baseman next year, right? They also play in New York, right? What if he goes there?
no, and you know what? Again, I'm sorry for everybody that hates them, but BT and Sal talking to Martino brought that up,
Yep, I
and
know.
he
I
said,
listen.
yeah, he was like, it doesn't fit the profile. He doesn't fit the profile of what they look for in a first baseman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
okay.
I forget the things
He'll
that
hit
he said.
60 home runs at Yankee Stadium.
Say again?
I'm sorry. He would hit 60 home runs.
Possibly, possibly.
But
Um,
look,
but
if that
he felt like, you know, from his, he said from my reporting, you know, Martino loves the my reporting
yeah,
crap. But you know, who knows? Listen, he'll go to Yankee Stadium and hit 70 just because that's
just
what
because. Yeah, exactly.
life as a Met fan is, bro.
He'll
He'll
bat
fucking hit
300
70
too.
home runs and bat 280, Rob.
Oh God. Oh man, this is like a whole Doc Good and Strawberry situation all over
Oh
again.
my goodness. Oh God,
Oh,
no way.
I can't with this shit, man. It's fucking team. Oh my God, I want to talk about winning. I would love to talk about great performances. Like
Yo, how
2017,
many series in a row is it that we've lost now?
who fuck knows? Too many. I don't know. It's been a lot. I think it's like
It's,
5, maybe 6 in a row.
Jesus.
Yeah. I think the list, I'm going to check, because what else are we here for, right? To annoy people. So
Dude,
hold on one
how
second.
many times I said during that winning streak and all of that, do not go now and ruin it by losing 5 in a row or whatever.
Yeah.
You've won 6 series in a row. Do not go now and lose the next 3 or 4. Oh no, they say, oh yeah, heck, we got you, baby. Watch
Hey,
this.
oh, hold on. No, it wasn't that. Okay, it was that long ago. It was the St. Louis series in St. Louis where they won 2 out of 3, but it rained the third game, so they took 2 out of 2. That was the last time they won a series, and that was about 2 weeks ago.
Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, it
And
was.
lost a bunch before that too.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
yep.
But no,
Hmm.
and listen, I'm easy. Before said, first baseman with his age, don't profile too good. And then
Well,
my man Darren again with the Pujols fielder Ryan Howard. Yeah, yeah. Listen, uh, and the thing is, man, everybody's. That's the one thing about baseball, right? Everybody has the same book. Everybody has the same information, the same analytics, the same all of that nonsense. So the
exactly.
whole league feels the same way. It's just a matter of who's gonna be that desperate owner that says, you know what, I want them bombs. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Whatever. I'll give them the money. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it was the right mix of guys available this past 12 season under Boris, but it doesn't seem like teams are willing to go there anymore with this dude. Like they're hip to his game. You know what I'm saying? I keep
Yeah.
saying this, man. All this analytics crap was born out of Scott Boris, in my opinion. Yes, and teams trying to get ahead, but also like, yo, Scott Boras was the first dude you heard. Oh, he came into the meeting, the free agent, whatever, with a binder, and it had all
Mhm.
kinds of like projections and all of that nonsense. And this was with A Rod and the Rangers. You know what I'm saying? And he overwhelmed teams, and he kept overwhelming them with information and this and that and blah 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 blah. So what did teams do? Okay, we're gonna hire these geeks that are gonna know crap just like you so that we're able to now fight in these negotiations a fair fight.
That's
And
what
they
it's all about.
and I think they finally might have caught up, bro. They finally might have caught up, and now they're like, you know what? Nah.
Well, I mean, it is common sense too. You don't need analytics to tell you that somebody who's over 30 years old is probably going to break down at the age of 34 without steroids.
Yeah,
Like,
Rob, but you know what? Before in his book, he was gonna shut you up because you know what I'm saying that 30 years old, blah, blah, blah. Not, I'm not saying it personally, you like even
yeah,
me.
I got you. I
You,
got
you
you. I know.
understand what I'm saying? I gotta be careful. Not with you, but sometimes people get
Yeah,
offended by the way I speak,
yeah, it's
so I
fine.
gotta
It's
be
fine.
careful.
Offend them. Don't
but
worry about it. Offend them. You get more views that way. Offend them. It's fine.
he would he would be like, yo, look at this, blah 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 blah, and hit you with all these fucking numbers. He'd be like, oh man, yeah, Scott, you're right. You want 35 now? Here, take 42 million.
Yeah.
Then next thing you know, in a year and a half, you're like, what the fuck? Nah, nah, nah. How did
Well,
this even happen?
and that's why I think that Boris is giving Pete Alonso the bill of goods. Like, I think that, like, we talked about this. The Mets fans see Pete Alonso totally different than other teams around baseball. And I think that's where Pete Alonso is going to fall into an issue where I think he's going to be crawling back and begging the Mets to take him back on a deal that the Mets are going to like, in my opinion. That's how the Mets are going to get Pete Alonso back. Because I'll tell you this right now, and you can quote me on this, and you can record this however you want to find this 6 months from now. All right, I'm gonna let you know this right now. If there's a stupid team out there giving Pete Alonso above 100, 190 and over, book it and guarantee it. Pete Alonso will not be a New York Met. The Mets are not going to go past 170 and 7, maybe go 8 years, maybe in crunch,
Man.
maybe. They are not going more than 8, and they're damn sure not going past 190 because David Stearns knows that you can allocate that money with 2 really good players instead of one kind of great player, right? Because if you bat 217 again with your 40 home runs and 110 RBIs, guess what? That's not warranted of a $200 million contract. I'm sorry, it's not. You can't have a 250 career average in your last two seasons prior to your contract year bat under 220. You can't do that. I'm sorry. That shows you signs of decline, right?
No,
Just
I
because
agree.
you
But and you know what though, Rob? Because Sanders, I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna interrupt. I'm my bad.
go ahead,
But
please.
Sanders just said something that he subscribes to my book of GMing and president and all that nonsense. I always say this, bro. I don't really give a damn about the money, right? I don't care about the money.
Me neither.
It's the
Me neither.
years. It's the
Yep.
fucking years. And I agree with Sanders. I would not give anybody over 25 years old more than 7 years. I'm
I
sorry.
agree.
No position player, you're not getting more than 7 years. And if you're a pitcher, you're not getting more than five. And if you don't like it, you can keep moving. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry. And that doesn't mean that I won't keep you for 10. In 7 years, we'll revisit it. Maybe in 4 or 5 years, we'll revisit it. And I'll give you another 5 year deal at that point. With like a 2 year extension or whatever, like a year extension. But I'm not giving you 10 years and then I'm screwed because you can't get nothing done after year
Yep.
3. Like, nah, get the hell out of here. 7 years max. And I don't even want to
I
give you 7. The ideal 5 years for everybody. Picture 3 years if I could. 3 years. But of course, oh Hector, you're not gonna get nobody. Then I probably wouldn't
correct.
get nobody. But after a while,
Well,
guys will catch
well,
on. You know what I'm saying? Like then you would
what's
find.
yeah? I'm sorry. Good.
No. I'm saying like after a while, I think you would still be able to find players. And if you find players and you win, guys will subscribe to you to what you're selling. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
But
yeah,
nah,
absolutely. Sanders also said like Stearns shouldn't give any free agent more than 7 years, right? And I don't even think Stearns gave anybody 7 years with the Brewers. But then again, it's hard to judge that because the owner was never giving him money to
right.
spend
I was gonna
anyway.
say now he
So
has the Cohen effect though, so that's the only
yeah,
thing that
well,
we
that's what I'm
got.
saying. Like we can't judge David Stearns with
No,
how
but I still
he
think
ran the
that's
Brewers.
I still think he will subscribe to that though, Rob.
He
Now we just
would,
got to worry
but
about how
I would
much.
want to know if they want that player. Like like say if they really want Juan Soto, right? Say if
Right,
that's the truth. Like
right.
David Stearns wants him so badly. Is he gonna go past his philosophy because he is 26 years going to be 26 years old? So a 10-year deal is 36 years old at the end of it. So you can understand giving that guy a 10-year deal.
He might
But
be the exception. He might,
correct, correct. Yeah, but what about a guy that's
but
30
he's
years
gonna
old?
want like 12 or 13 probably to get him to closer to 40. But yeah,
Okay, but is David Stern, if he really wants Juan Soto, will he bite the bullet on that, knowing that he has the pockets of Steve Cohen? That's
okay.
what I
So
want to know.
this is what I feel about that. This is what I believe, and this is how I think a good organization runs. Right. I think a good organization, the owner gives the GM or president, whatever the hell it is. In our case, it's a president. Gives them a budget and says, "Do what you got to do. This is your budget." Obviously, with a Steve Cohen, that budget is going to be substantial, right? It's going to be a nice budget, so that David Stern is able to go out there and do whatever the hell he wants for the most part. However, no matter who the owner is, no matter who the president or the GM is, no matter who the organization is, when you're making deals like a Juan Soto deal, like an A-Rod deal before, back in the days, like even
Hmm.
a Scherzer deal where everybody's like, oh, Steve Cohen made that deal. No, Billy Epler does all the legwork, but those are big deals. A Francisco Lindor deal is a deal that ownership is going to get involved in. Now, at the
Correct.
same time, when it says, okay, here's the plan for 2024 season. These are the targets. Is Juan Soto a target? Absolutely. David, what are you thinking? What are you really thinking, David? Tell me what you're really thinking. You're the man, you're the baseball guy. Whatever. I'm willing to go wherever you want to go. Okay, Steve, this is what I think. I'm willing to go this amount of years, this amount of money. But we really want him. We're not gonna tell anybody, but we'll pass that. This is the line, but we'll pass it by this much. This is as far as we'll go, but let's try to stay and negotiate as much as possible to stay under it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Now, the question is Steve Cohen okay with that? Or does Steve Cohen says, as this negotiation gets going, and it looks like, damn, we're gonna miss out because David Stern is playing that hard line right here, and he doesn't want to get to here this is the line, and this is that's it. This is my limit, no matter what. Is Steve Cohen gonna come and say, you know what, at the last minute, say, you know what, David, I hear you, and I hired you for this, but
Well,
fuck that line.
I think if it's a guy like Juan Soto, I think there's no, I would say, way that Steve Cohen ain't gonna make that final decision, regardless if Stearns is the
Now,
guy.
do you think that Steve Cohen has a limit though? Because maybe this is the line, David
I don't
Stern's line, and then
I
Steve
don't
Cohen is always willing to go over it,
I
but he's
don't
gonna let David Stern try to stay here. But then he
yeah,
says,
but you know
"I'll
what?
go
I
over it,
think
but how much? How much is it gonna be? No
here's the
limit?"
problem. Juan Soto, I think, is the only exception right now. But then again, Yamamoto, they were the highest bidder for Yamamoto. Yamamoto never went back to the Mets to make a counteroffer when the Dodgers matched.
Right.
So Stearns did go above and beyond for Yamamoto. So you can't do nothing if the player doesn't come back to you when the team that he wanted to go to matched. You can't make a counteroffer because he doesn't come back to you. I guarantee you, if Yamamoto would have came back to the Mets and says, "Look, the Dodgers match," I think they would have went a little bit further higher to land Yamamoto because they were trending in that direction. They ended up being the final two teams when nobody thought they were going to be the top two teams. Everybody thought it was going to be the Yankees, Dodgers. It ended up being the Mets, the Dodgers, and the Mets gave him the highest offer before the Dodgers match, and Yamamoto never went back to the Mets. So I would have loved to seen if the Mets would have been able to counteroffer if they would have extended it or would have said that's the only offer, pick your team. Because the way they were trending, they seemed like they wanted him at any cost. But when the player doesn't come back for a counteroffer, you can't make another counteroffer at any cost. So I
No,
think
no.
they already showed that they're willing to go above and beyond for the player they want. And I think Juan Soto is one of those guys. Again, yet to be determined because David Stearns might not want Juan Soto. He might want to spend that $500 million over 2 years for really good players, and you can get 3 or 4 of them instead of just one. But then again, Juan Soto is a game changer. Look what he's doing with the Yankees. He changed that team to a different team. They feel different. Like until the playoffs, we don't know, but we know Juan Soto is going to do damage in the playoffs. It's just a matter of if anybody else is going to do damage because the Yankees, other than Juan Soto, already showed you they can't score runs in the playoffs. Can he change that? If Juan Soto changes that and Juan Soto wants the most money, I don't think the Mets are going to be denied. Because if Juan Soto doesn't care where he goes, as long as it's to a team that pays him the most and looks like they're going to spend beyond him, and I think the Mets will, because let's be honest, David Stearns is setting up this offseason to have a lot of money off the books. Like he could spend $150 million and not have a payroll like they have right now.
Yeah,
That's
but
off the books. So I do wonder if this is going to be Juan Soto plus type all season for the Mets, or is it Juan Soto? That's it, and we'll bring in the
which
young
is
guys and see what
which is
happens.
not what we signed up for. Honestly, that's not what we signed up for when we got this owner. That's not what it was
No,
about. That
no,
we could
but you
only
know what?
do.
But you know what? The core determined that, not Steve Cohen. Let's be honest about that. If the core was good, we wouldn't be talking about that. Maybe we'd be better. The reason why
No,
we're
no, I'm not
talking
talking
about
about being better. I'm talking about spending. You're talking about that's only the 150 they're gonna spend. That has nothing to do with the core. That has to do
no,
with
no,
how
no,
far they're
no.
willing to
I'm
go
saying,
spend.
I'm saying, if they spend, say, just on Juan Soto and bring up a
That's
couple of
bad.
items, I agree. I agree 100%. I
And that's
agree.
not what we thought was gonna happen, that
No,
we only able
no.
to get one guy. When we
That's
got this
fine.
owner, dude, it was like, yo, you'll be able to extend Pete, silent door, get Juan Soto, and whatever the hell else pitchers are available and all of that stuff. Just like the Dodgers type of offseason that they just did. You know what I mean? So like I don't and I never believed that the guy was gonna come here and spend wildly. I kept telling people that like, yo, that's not gonna
But
happen. That's not
that's
responsible.
fine though. That's fine. But here's the problem though. The problem with that is the fact that people already are complaining that he spent too much money and the Mets didn't win. It's not a bad idea. Just because you have the money doesn't mean that you have to spend $300 million on a payroll to make sure that you could have a chance to win. What if he does a lot of pretty good signings that, not cheap signings, but say if he signs Santander and Juan Soto, but not Pete Alonso? I think that's already a better lineup because Santander has
We'll
done it
see.
with the Orioles with no protection prior
But
to
again,
when.
but that's not just doing Peter. That's not just doing Juan Soto though. That's
No,
doing
no,
more
but
than
I'm
Juan
saying
Soto.
like I'm talking about Santander from the Orioles
No, I
and
know who
Juan
you're
Soto.
talking about, Rob. I'm just saying when you said before only Juan Soto would be the only move, I object to that. I'm sorry.
Well,
That should
I'm
not be the
talking
only
about
move.
if Juan Soto's the biggest move, and they make a good signings like like guys that like 4 years 80 million, 5 years 100 million, not the big time additions, but like really solid additions. Because just because me and you might want three guys that are the highest paid guys and the Mets get them all,
No, I
that's
don't. I no, no, no. I don't want that. Again, I
I
was
agree.
just,
I agree.
I was just saying that when you say only Juan Soto. But of course, now you're talking about no, you're having a full off season. No, I don't have a problem with that. Absolutely not. Not for sure.
Well,
What I
I have.
don't like is my man Steven talking about give Alonso 8 years with an option for 9. Like, no, did you not just hear what we said? No,
Doesn't make
no,
sense.
8 years, man. That's too many years. You know what I mean?
I mean, don't
But
you
look
feel
how
like
bad
Pete
it is.
Alonso's taken down already a
Say
little
again?
bit? Don't you think, or maybe you don't. I feel like Pete Alonso's slowly breaking down. I think his
Breaking.
eye at the plate is a little is
No,
going
no.
by the
See,
wayside a little bit.
but breaking down and his eye slowing down is two different things. I don't see Pete breaking down. Pete don't get hurt. Pete's a machine. He don't get hurt. That's why he's breaking down. No, you want to say he's slowing down? He's losing his eye? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
You know,
I think
game,
Pete is mental, bro. I think with Pete is mental right now.
yeah, but you can't have that on your team as one of the highest paid players and have a guy mentally destroyed. Like you see Diaz right now. They took him out of the closing role.
Francisco Lindor is mentally destroyed,
I
bro.
agree. I agree. But he wasn't mentally destroyed when he got that money, right? Because in 2022 he was good just like Pete Alonso. Everybody thought they were the best thing since sliced bread. Right? So we have to take every year into consideration, not just the
Yeah,
year that
well,
he was good or he was really good. Right? Like Game for War right now, right? This is the guy that always gets on me every single time. And look, I appreciate you tuning in. But he says Rob wouldn't pay $200 million when it's not even his money. That's not the point. It is my money because I pay for season tickets. I pay to watch this team on SNY. I pay money to watch this team. Right? Hector does the same thing, and many others do as well. So yes, it is my money, and it is our money that they spend. Even though Cohen's the richest owner and doesn't need our money, he still spends our money, right? I spend $9 on a soda and $14 on a beer, just like Hector does on food and
bro,
tickets and all that crap.
they're raising prices and all of this stuff. I
Exactly.
love when people say it's not your money. Okay,
He's
we
like, this is what he also said. He said, to all the, I'm sorry, Rob wouldn't pay $200 million when it's not even his money to the all-time Met home run hitter who's been underpaid for years. He hasn't been underpaid. He's exactly where he should be because he wants more than Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson, and he's not better than them. There's your problem. The fact is, I don't care if he's the all-time home run leader. What does that mean? Does that help the team overall? Because look, a lot of those home runs are bullshit home runs. I'm sorry to say, but look at his August and September numbers when they did not matter, right? Lindor pads his stats. Pete Alonso does too in August and September when the Mets are fully out of it. Because I saw Lindor and Alonso in 2022 in September when they were nowhere to be found, when they could have easily won their division and have a division title going into the playoffs. What did they do? They were nowhere to be found when Marte went down. You know who was the best players in September? It was Mark Hanna, it was Escobar, and it was Jeff McNeil, not Pete Alonso or Francisco Lindor. So, as much as people want to bitch that Lindor don't deserve the money, don't tell me Pete Alonso deserves the money because he could be the Mets all-time home run leader. Why does that matter? I don't care. If Pete Alonso hits 550 home runs as a Met, but has no rings, we're gonna honor him like the best thing ever. But guess what? Do you know why Keith Hernandez numbers retired? Because he won a championship. Who wasn't a Met prior to coming to be a Met? He was a Cardinal, right? Darryl Strawberry's numbers retired. He didn't even end his career as a Met. You know why? Because they won a championship. Doc, same thing, right? Gary Carter, same thing, whose number will get retired at some point. They won. That's the point. You know why David Wright's number is taking a while to get retired? Because it's hard for retiring his number because one, he's not a Hall of Famer, which I kind of not agree with if he would have played longer. But imagine if David Wright would have won a championship, his number would have been in the Raptors 2 years ago. The fact of the matter is, Pete Alonso, we're acting like he's a top 10, top 15 player. He's not. He's not even the best top 3 in baseball as a first baseman. That's a huge.
I don't know any. You said that in the round table. I don't know anyone that has said that Pete is top 10, 15 player anywhere. Like,
You'll be surprised. You be on these streams long enough, you'll find a lot of people. Trust me. Trust me.
jeez.
Trust me.
Listen, and I'm a Pete
I'm not
guy.
saying that to be a dick. There's a lot of people that have been saying that a while now.
No,
Like,
I hear you. I hear you.
Here's the problem. People take home runs as a great player. I'm sorry. There's other aspects to the
Well,
baseball.
that's what it's been built on. That's what baseball is now, right?
No, I
Three
understand
true
that.
outcomes: home run, walk, or
I understand.
strikeout. You know,
I
it
agree with
sucks.
that. But with analytics now, it's starting to turn to the fact where your on base percentage, your slugging percentage, right, and OPS and all that nonsense, right? You're gonna tell me if Pete Alonso hits 44 home runs but bats 216, you're okay with that? That's
Not
not.
me.
I'm not me either. And if you want to pay that money for a guy that hits 44 home runs on a losing team consistently, but is starting to show that maybe he's not a career 250 hitter and maybe he is that 220, 215 hitter that we've seen the last 2 seasons, which I don't believe he is because I think he's a smarter hitter than that. And I want people to understand that. I think he's a smarter hitter than that. But he hasn't shown it over the last 2 seasons. When the pressure has been on, he's been not clutch enough and not the player that we want him to be. You can't be a face of the franchise. You can't be the best player on the team and not be that guy consistently enough. And I'm sorry. Tell me in the chat right now. A lot of you probably a Pete Alonso fan, like a big fan. And I'm not saying I'm not a big fan, but be realistic. Are you confident in the ninth inning, 2 outs, down by a runner on, 2 runners on to win the ball game? Do you feel confident in Pete Alonso hitting the ball over the wall and winning you a ball game? If the answer isn't a quick yes, then that's a question mark. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's not about the fans thinking they should keep Pete Alonso. Of course the fans want Pete Alonso on this team forever. Duh, you're a fan. I get it. But David Stearns can't be a fan making these decisions. He has to be a GM, a president of baseball ops. He has to take the emotion out of it because if he doesn't, he's going to be a lame duck.
At the same time, Peter Alonso's not the only one, bro. Like, this has turned into
I
a Peter
agree.
Alonso
I
batch
agree.
session,
I
and
agree.
this is
But this
recently that Peter
Lindor,
Alonso hasn't come through.
but
But at
Lindor,
first, Peter Alonso did come through in the clutch. He hit a lot of home runs at the end of ball games to tie the game to
I
take the
agree.
lead. It's been recently where they all have stunk, right? Since
I agree.
September 22, for whatever reason, they've all stunk,
Agree.
and he struggled like everybody else. They need to figure it out. Is that because
I
of the
agree.
hitting coach? Is that the approach? Is that
But, but,
I don't
but
know what it is. At the
what,
same time, I'll give my man Six a shout out who says it in the spaces all the time. Yo, Peter Alonso's a basher, bro. He's a masher. If you surround him with the right guys in the lineup, Peter Alonso's not a problem, even with his 220, if he's gonna hit 40 plus home runs. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta have guys that are constantly getting on base in front of him, constantly getting on base in front of him, and then have somebody behind them that when he doesn't come through, can make you pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Behind them every now and then too. And not only
well,
has
okay,
Pete Alonso not been because whatever, but he hasn't had that around him or behind him.
okay. So look, this lineup's going to be this way 1 through 4 for a while. Nimmo and Martinez for the next month are going to be behind him as off days and stuff when they give him off days. But these two guys who are the best two hitters on his team right now, who are
Have
consistent,
you been watching Pete Alonso lately, Rob?
yeah. And I don't feel confident in him at all. In
Because
big
he's been
spots, I
doing
don't
pretty well. Like he
pretty
hasn't
well.
been like he's been getting hits almost every game.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But okay, hits. Okay, that's cute. But where are you in the big spot? I don't care about the second inning. I'm sorry. Look at his numbers from the fifth inning on. They're terrible. That's when
He's
you
not
need
the
your big
only
guy.
one.
No, no, I'm not saying that. But he's the guy that wants the big contract. He's the face of the franchise. I'm sick and tired of people not giving him enough criticism. Like he's not the face of the franchise. Where too many people are. You're not, but there's too many people afraid to criticize Pete Alonso enough. Like they'll criticize him on the side quietly, like like little bees in a
I
corner.
just think you got it in for Pete, bro. I'm sorry, man.
I do,
You go on
I
the
do
P rant
because
every day, you keep
I
saying that
do
nobody.
because you know
But
what?
I've been seeing nothing but Pete criticism. I don't like you said
But
before.
no, no, it's only been very recently, and that's my problem because of the fact. Look, I'm on here. I kill Aaron Judge playoff wise as a Mets fan, right? He's a great regular season player, but he's a choke job in the playoffs. He's terrible in the playoffs, right? I
Yo,
kill him. He's one of the best players in the league.
Game for war is asking you a question.
But he already got his money. That's the difference. I
Who
can't
cares about
change
the
that.
money? We're talking about game situations, man.
Yeah, I
We're
agree.
talking about are you
Okay,
confident in Lindor right now?
look. I'm guaranteeing you right now,
Come
Lindor
on,
would have
Rob.
no.
Come on,
I'm
Rob.
telling you right now, Lindor would have more big hits than Pete Alonso this year, guaranteed. Because
Okay.
you brought up the numbers. When
Okay.
the Mets lose, Lindor plays bad. When the Mets win, Lindor has better
There you
numbers.
go. My guy Junior gave the proper answer. Brandon Nimble's the only one we have confidence in.
You're
And
damn
even
right.
Brandon Nimble's thinking it up lately.
Give Nemo
Get
his
Nimble out of the
due.
three hole. Nimble.
Can Nemo come up on every at bat? That's not every at bat. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, please. I like that
No,
answer
not
better.
right now. Not
Maybe
right now.
medium.
He's not right now. He's struggling, bro.
Oh, I love these conversations, man. I tell you.
Oh Jesus. Oh my God. Well,
Gabo,
now,
thank
man,
you.
some
Thank you.
good
Listen,
comments. Good
listen.
comments in here.
Gabo is the best comment of the night because he says this: Ramirez doesn't need any protection because there's a guy behind him that's batting 210 with no home runs. So don't tell me
Yo,
about fucking protection.
no, I
You
listen. I
when you're not the
agree. I've always said that. I agree. I
oh, that
love
pisses
that
me
comment. I
off is
agree.
protection. Like protection means nothing until that guy comes up, right? The fact of the matter is, pitchers are not pitching around Pete Alonso to get to the next batter, or pitching him closely, or giving him pitches to hit because they don't want to face the next guy. The fact of the matter is, they're throwing that slider 3 feet off the plate because they know he's gonna swing at it, not
Absolutely.
because
I did a
they're
whole
scared
video
of him.
saying that. I agree.
I'm so sick of that. Jose, thank you, Gavo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gavo said it. Thank you. I appreciate it. I thought about that on
Gavin must
Saturday.
watch Blunt Thoughts. He just don't want to give me credit.
I'm sorry. Jose Ramirez has a look. I'm going to pull up the numbers because you know what? Somebody actually agrees with me. I know, Hector, you kind of agree, but you're on the fence with that. But
No,
you
no, no,
like
no,
to
no, no, no,
criticize
no, 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 no.
everybody you need to.
I've been saying this
Oh,
stuff.
no,
I'm
no, no.
just
I agree with that.
we're just having
But
a conversation, bro, and you're trying to bury Pete, and I don't think it's fair when the whole team has struggled. You know what I'm saying? Now,
all
like
right.
I
But
say with
here's the
Lindor
problem.
too. I guess
Because
I guess I sound like a Lindor stand, right? Where but I'm not giving you 30, 30, 30. You know, I'm telling you, he needs to be better, like
oh,
everybody else. You know.
this is not the fact that Lindor has been good because he hasn't. I kill Lindor in the stream all the time, but the fact that everybody has to go back to Lindor, like the other guy just did in the comment. I talk about Pete Alonso, he brings up Lindor every time,
But
and that's
and it
not
goes vice versa though too. I talk about Lindor, people
exactly
bring up Alonso
exactly. Talk,
or bring up
talk,
Nimmo. You know what I'm
but
saying?
here's
It
the
goes
problem.
both ways, bro.
But the energy is more towards Lindor than
Here
Pete
we go.
Alonso. They gotta
Here we
keep it.
go.
You got to keep the energy the same because they both been terrible in big spots for the last two
No,
seasons.
but because as much as you want to talk about Peter Alonso, whatever the hell his batting average is, your boy Lindor's batting 180, bro. Maybe
That's
a
a
little bit better
problem.
after today.
That's a problem. That's a
Maybe a little
problem.
bit better.
You
So
gotta
it's
get better.
not the same. It's not the same. Just like when you, like three round tables ago, you wanted to keep talking about Brandon Nimmo this. How come Brandon Nimmo doesn't get there? And I'm telling you, dude, are you kidding me? And Lindor had just come from his 4-hit game. I said, yo, Rob, Lindor go through his 0 for 20, 15 or whatever, and Brandon
Yeah,
Nimmo has two good games, and we're right back in the same boat. And what has happened? That's exactly what happened. And Nimmo
yeah,
surpassed him. And now Lindor's still hitting 180, maybe a little bit higher today, while
Oh my.
Nimble's struggling and still hitting better than him. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
that's the
So
other
it's
thing
like
too. Like,
they
like
can't catch the same heat. They all stink. Lindor stinks the most.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. No, no, I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah,
I
Junior
agree
and
with that.
Lindor need to start signing more autographs after the game. Come out there and mingle with the people. Watch the polarity change. Yes, Junior. Was that last night or in the
Easy.
round table? I
Is
forgot when I.
Naylor a
Oh
better
no.
cleanup hitter than this? Is easy. Is Naylor a better cleanup hitter than JD Martinez? No, he's not. Okay, isn't Nimmo better than everybody else on the Mets team behind Pete Alonso right now?
Oh,
Look,
Jesus.
the fact of the matter, look, Naylor's batting 247. Like, let's not act like he's batting 290 with 20 home runs already. He's not that
But it
good.
seems like he comes up clutch though.
Oh, yeah, a 240 hitter can actually come up clutch. Yeah, but that's the whole Cleveland lineup. These guys are batting 170 and they're getting big hits. That shit makes no sense.
I'll
Like, they
take
have a lot of
it.
under 200.
I'll take it, bro.
Galvo, look,
Especially
if Lindor is hurt, he shouldn't play. If you're on the field, you're getting criticism. I'm sorry. If you're hurt, sit the fuck out. I don't care. If you're on the field, you're as healthy as you can be. I'm sorry. I don't like that stuff either. Because people brought that up last year about Alonso's hand last year, which did hurt him last year. Which did hurt him because he came back too soon, which sucked. But it
But
didn't
even
matter.
even even Lindor, we found out after the season that he was playing through injury too. So you
Oh,
know what I mean? Like,
don't talk about that. You're not allowed to. He sucked. Injuries don't matter for Lindor. But
no,
Pete
he did
Alonso, you
suck.
saw yesterday, brought up his hand. Oh, he's bad. Oh, his hand. But Lindor
No,
basically,
come on, Rob, come on. But
I'm
we
sorry,
knew that.
no,
We
because they
saw him get hurt. We saw him come back early. We didn't know anything
right,
about Lindor.
exactly. The appearance, because we've
No,
seen it.
None of your pyramids. The facts, bro. It was
But
facts.
the fact is, Lindor had a 30 home run, 30 stolen
Oh
base year.
God, shoot me.
No,
30,
because I'm
30.
sick. I'm sick. Look, I want them to trade Pete Alonso so I don't have to hear this bullshit anymore. Put Mark
Oh my.
Vientos at first base.
I want
I
him to trade
guarantee he'll hit
Francisco
be a better
Lindor.
player all around. I'm so
I want
sick
him
of
to
this
trade
shit.
Lindor. Honestly.
Replace him. I don't care. Replace him. Put Mauricio at shortstop next year.
There we go. Now we're talking, baby.
Why not? I don't care. You know what? Trade Nimmo.
I don't know about
Tyrone
that.
Taylor, give him a 10-year deal. Fuck
I
it.
want Nemo. I want Nemo to lead this team.
I
To
want
be my
me too. And you know what? I bashed Nimmo a few years ago. I didn't like the contract, but you know what? Nimmo needs to be the leader of this team. Nimmo needs to be the guy. Over Lindor, over Alonso, in my opinion. I think we could agree on that. I mean, Nimmo's doing his thing. Like, what else am I gonna say?
Nemo has gotten better every year. He's been the most consistent Met.
Yep.
Like, oh shit, the Mariners beat the Yankees again. Let's go Mariners, baby.
Did the Yankees
Anyways,
beat any good teams this year? Like, let's let
uh,
they lost 3 out of 4 against the Orioles, and they just lost the series against the Mariners.
yeah,
So
that's
what's funny? You know how many people were in the stream the last couple of times that were a lot of Yankee fans? They're nowhere to be found when the Yankees lose. How is that possible? You
uh,
bandwagoners.
let me
Hey,
see
listen,
here.
I can criticize the Yankees when I criticize my team every single fucking day. I'm sorry.
So you were saying that Pete padded his stats in September and October last year, right?
August and September, yes. That was his both best months. April it was pretty good though.
Pete batted 202 in September and October, bro.
Yeah. Okay, but how many home runs did he hit? Because that's what everybody cares about. Nobody cares about average anymore.
He hit seven
Really.
home runs
And it was 2 months.
in September and October. 7 home runs. So I don't know
What about
about padding
August?
his
What
stats.
about August? Because those were
In April and March, he hit 10 home runs, hitting
okay. And what about
257. Hold on, Rob. I got you, brother. Relax. I got you. I
okay?
got you because it's not what you're trying to portray. You want to ignore what happened. He
No,
had 10 home runs in April and March. He had 10 home runs in May. He got hurt in June. He hit four. came
Okay.
back early, hit 6 in July, he hit 9 in August. You're gonna tell me him getting hurt didn't affect him, and that he padded his stats, or that he started to feel a little bit better?
I hope he felt better, but he also hit 16 home runs in August and September and October. That were months that didn't matter, no pressure, just like
So,
Lindor, by the way.
so he should have stopped. No, he was hurt. He
But
was
it didn't
hurt,
matter.
bro.
It didn't matter in August and September with the numbers. The same thing with Lindor. He
He
padded
was
his off
healing
too.
by then. It's not his fault that the rest of the team couldn't do nothing while he tried to play hurt.
I I give him all the credit in the world. But again, if you're hurt, don't come back. That shit annoys me because now it's an excuse for him. Don't come back if you're hurt, if you're completely not healthy. I hate that shit.
Okay, well that's a different conversation. But he did come
I
back. He
agree.
played, and it affected him. You cannot like it didn't affect him. And then by the same breath, your boy trying to come after the season. Well, I played hurt the whole year or whatever the hell it was, and that's why I did what I did. But we're only
Yeah,
gonna kill Pete when we actually saw Pete get hurt, and we know he shouldn't have come back. There,
yeah, he
there was
shouldn't.
somebody arguing with Edge and myself because we said, "Yo, he's coming back X and X date," because of what we were hearing. And then, "Oh, you guys are crazy. Did you see what happened?" They said, da, da, da. The next, I think it was the next day they announced he was coming back. Even we were shocked, bro,
I know
and
we
we
all were.
expected him to come back early. You know what I mean? So was it the right thing to do? It's like I said. I was saying at the time, "Yo, he's gonna come back early." Doesn't mean I was right. And,
No,
and I
it just
agree with
happened
you
like that.
after the fact. After the fact, I agree. He probably came back early, and he probably shouldn't have.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that him getting hurt didn't affect him, because it did.
Oh no,
I'm
it
sorry.
affected him. No, I didn't say it didn't affect him. But the
Well,
fact
you first
is,
say it's an excuse, is this and that. No, it's the facts. It's what happened.
but again, people. But again, see, here's the problem. August and September, those numbers don't matter because there's no pressure. They
Oh
were
my
done.
God.
I don't care.
So
Lindor,
should he have not played though, Rob? Should he have not played?
who?
Pete? Because September and August didn't matter?
No,
Like,
see,
I don't understand. Like,
but
what do you want him to do?
because no, the players are gonna put up the numbers that they're gonna put up. The fact of the matter is, right? Lindor did it, and Pete Alonso did it, right? I hear Met fans a lot of time. Lindor padded his stats. Well, yeah, of course he did. Well, like, what was he
Bro, you
supposed
know
to do?
why?
Play
Because
just
whenever
like
anybody says, "Yo, Lindor needs to be better," are you kidding me? Lindor was 30-30 last year. So what the hell are we supposed to say? He did it in fucking August and September. I'm
that's my
sorry.
problem.
That's what happened. So you
But
want to say
that's the
Pete did
problem.
that? Yes, Rob. Pete did his numbers in August and September. They all fucking suck since
Correct.
September 2022, bro.
I
That's the
agree.
facts.
I agree. They all did, and I said that Marte went down. The core. The core was nowhere to be found. The core. All of them.
Yeah, that shit drove me in 2022. That drove me crazy. Whatever. Oh, it's because Lindor, it's because Marte's not. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This team can't play because one dude is out, because Marte is out.
That pissed me off more than anything else.
That shit drove
Even
me
the football.
crazy.
Yep. It made no sense. What's up, Amir? How you doing?
Come on, MEZ, man. You know you my guy, MEZ, but how you gonna say Pete didn't make excuses? Pete played.
No, I never
Lindor
came
just
to
trying to be the,
excuses. No, no.
always
Pete
do the
played.
right thing. Always say the right thing to his PR people. So I'm not gonna say I'm hurt. But after the fact, I'm gonna say that I was hurt the whole year, so that I could look even better. Oh, look, I did 30, 30, 30, but I was hurt. Fuck
Yeah.
out of here. We
But
saw Pete get hurt.
we did. We did. You know what's funny though? Like, I want this core to turn it around so badly so they can shut us all the fuck up and make us have egg on our face. Because
Some
we
people
all
want him to
want egg
turn
on
around
our
so
face.
they can trade them all. Yo, you know it's bad when my guy Junior is done with all of these guys. I
Yeah,
play
right?
baseball with this dude. Like, I know him personally. You know what I'm saying? We've had these conversations. You know what I mean? When I go nuts out there on the baseball field talking shit about these Mets, he's like, "Yo, dude, you bugging the hell out." Even he's done with these dudes. That's how bad you know it is, bro. I'm telling you. That's how you know it's bad. I'm serious.
Go ahead. Here's a comment. I want to see if you. I want to see. Pete would be good on a good team where he doesn't have to be the guy. We expect him to be the guy for us. He's not. He's just a cog in the wheel. I wouldn't call him a cog in the wheel. That's not fair to him.
I know.
But
I agree. The same
I
thing
don't.
about Lindor.
I don't think he's the number one in guys.
That's the
Exactly.
problem with this team. We got a bunch of number threes and fours.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah,
We
I
got to
100%
now,
agree with
now. But listen, like you said earlier, and Rob, we said we are going to do this for 30 minutes. This is not even a post game. This is a fucking hanging out. But I don't give a damn.
Yeah. I only got to go
Like
to
you
work
said
in an
earlier,
hour.
though, if we bring Soto in here, maybe it makes these threes and fours a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? And we could be that much better of a team.
Well, that's what we're hoping for, I think.
But we need that crazy. That's a crazy one. That's like a LeBron one. You know what? You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So
LeBron like the Cavaliers, like
right. Well, no, maybe the second time he came to the Cavs with
yeah, yeah,
Kyrie.
exactly.
You
Yeah,
know what I
exactly.
mean? The second time with Kyrie and fucking Kevin Love and them bumps.
Yeah, 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 without those guys. But yeah,
With-
look. This turned into a more of a talking point towards a lot
This
of
is
the players
fun.
on the team.
Anytime I
But
could bash Lindor is fun.
we talk about this all the time on all of our shows, right? The
I
reason
know. I
why,
hate, and what I say on the round table, I hate the fact
yeah,
that we always
yeah.
gotta go to this crap.
But we keep on going back to this conversation, no matter where the conversation leads to. If it leads to McNeil, Lindor, Alonso, the fact that we're going there shows you that there's too many question marks about the core. And that's why we go back to it. Not because we like talking about it. I would love to talk about winning games and how good these guys were. But because they're not, at least right now to this point, let's be fair about that, right?
Look,
Because it's still
now
a
look
month.
at this. You want to talk about Patty stats? My bad, because I had to look.
Go ahead, please.
You made me
Hold on.
look. Your boy, Francisco, in April and March, 4 home runs, 218 batting average, whatever, OPS 762. So, yeah. In May, 6 home runs, 227 batting average, 685 OPS. In June, 6 home run, 230 batting average, 816 OPS. Not bad. Pretty good.
No,
July. July, 5 home run, fucking 923 OPS, 276 batting average. In August, he hit 305 with an 818 OPS and 3 home run. And then in September and October, he hit 7 home run, 272 batting average, 868 OPS.
who's that, Pete?
That's Lindor.
I thought that was Pete numbers. That's pretty fucking good. That was what, last year?
That was last year.
That's pretty good for the majority of the season, though.
Yeah, it was good. No, listen, he had a decent year.
Yeah,
But
yeah, but see, we put Lindor and Alonso in the same type of conversation when Lindor is not an OPS guy. He never was in his career. He's not a big home run guy. He's
no,
not a
I
big
just say
slugging
that
guy.
because that's a number that you guys like. That's a number that
No,
everybody
I don't
likes.
like that shit.
OPS.
No, I don't care about that shit. I don't care about it at all. The fact of the matter is, he hit 30 home runs last year, right? A lot of look again. You already spread out the numbers. I don't have to go over them again. But just look at those numbers. He consistently spread that out over the year, right? So like that was a really good season, right? 2022 was a good season for him too. 2021 was his first year, so I kind of throw that out of the way because almost every guy that comes to New York their first year
No,
seems
dude,
to like
but
get back to it.
2022, you want to look at 2022?
Yeah, it
Because
was bad in the first month. I
because
know that.
Pete murdered it in 2022, bro.
Well, who didn't really?
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
that's what
like
I mean. Like, yo, when we were good, they were both good. Last
well,
year, Pete got hurt.
like
Lindor wasn't as bad, but he wasn't as good as he could have been as that 340
correct,
million.
correct.
I don't even like saying the money, but as that dude who could have stepped up and put us on his back, he
I
didn't
agree.
do it. He was
I agree.
okay, you know what I'm saying? But
Well, that's the thing.
so
Nobody puts the team on their back.
and
Anybody.
then we come to this year when we're hoping, okay, it's a new year, just turn it around, and he's been fucking dreadful. And I
Dreadful.
feel
Dreadful.
like most of Lindor's time here has been this conversation. Me saying, damn, I want this guy to be better. And people telling me, Hector, he's top shortstop. He's this, he's that, he's war, this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what the F? So what am I looking at? You know what I mean? Like these numbers, I look at these numbers and it's like, damn, like you said, it's not that bad. But I know what I watched, for the most part, made me sick.
It's not. Well, that's the thing, right? We're talking about we have a lot of number threes and a lot of number fours. There's nobody to put the team on their back, right? Nimmo is really, really good. I think he could be one of those leaders, but Nemo's not a number one guy. I don't think he can get to that next level. If he can get to that next level, we're talking about a totally different spectrum of a team. But Nemo is still, I think Nemo can be a really good number two, not a number one.
Yeah. When I say Nimmo, like I want him to lead in like
Yeah, I know what
the
you mean.
way.
I know what you mean. But what I'm saying, like
No,
performance
like the
wise,
way he
he's
carries
probably a
himself. You know
number
what I'm
two.
saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But like he's like a number two performance wise. Like Lindor and Alonso, I expect to be the guys to carry
They should
teams.
be number 2 and 1, or
Yeah,
1 and 1A, or
yeah.
two. You
Whoever
know what I'm
wants to
saying?
be one or two, I'm telling
Yeah.
right now they're like threes, like that.
You saw that, Rob? I think you said LOL maybe, right?
Yeah,
But this
yeah.
is because this goes to Game for War. Says, how about this, Rob? All Mets are Floridians. They can only hit in hot and muggy August. Listen, I don't know. I don't know how many of them are Floridians. I know a lot of them live there. And actually, you know what? That when they were playing the Marlins, Gary was talking about all the guys that either live or are from Florida. So there is a lot of them. But this
Yeah,
this
yeah, true.
again.
But you know what? They didn't hit in Florida, but we know why because the roof wasn't open.
No. Yeah, but I'm not talking about that. What I'm saying is, what I'm gonna. This is another one, a
Yeah,
small
yeah, yeah.
that you
I
could
got you.
put in the Hector hates Lindor. Um, one thing that bothered me about Francisco Lindor when we first got him was the whole thing that he talked about. I don't like playing in cold weather, and I said, wait a
I mean,
minute.
he played in Cleveland though. It's colder in there than
I
in New York.
understand that, Rob, but this is what he told me. And you want to ignore
Well,
it.
then
I
he didn't know
can't.
where he lived. He didn't know where he lived the first 5 years of his career. Then.
Then that's his problem.
Yeah,
That's how.
exactly. Like, fuck, you like, motherfucker, you didn't live in Puerto Rico and then play games in Cleveland. Like, that didn't happen. Like, come on.
But that bothered me because it's like, yo, wait a minute. You don't like playing in cold weather, so you're coming to New York, where most of the season is fucking freezing, especially in that stadium. Because you go there
Yeah.
in March, April, and even May. It's not fun going to City Field most of the time. It is
No, it's
cold.
not. And they lose a lot, so that's even worse.
Well, yeah, they lose, and you're cold, and it's just miserable. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
gonna come here, and then if we get to where we want to go, October baseball, and now even November, guess what? It gets cold again, and that bothered me, bro. And now we see every year he's a slow starter. He's a slow starter.
Well, that
Okay.
has been consistent. This is not a slow start anymore. This is beyond slow start. This is fucking putrid.
No, but so then, but what is he gonna mean? Is he gonna have a slow finish too if we make it to past the wild card and into a fucking World Series? God forbid. Oh,
Well, God
God
forbid,
willing.
yeah.
Yeah, God willing. You know what I'm saying? Is he gonna not be able to perform because it gets too cold by then?
I don't know.
That
He has great
worries me.
numbers in Cleveland when in October when they made the playoffs. So I mean, but again, that doesn't mean nothing to me. Like, do it as a Met. Like, that's a different story. Like,
No,
I don't even count 2022 against the Padres because we know that team was done before they even played the Padres in that series. Like, yeah, we rooted for him. I went to 2 out of the 3 games, but that was about it. Like, there was no action. It felt like there was no confidence in that team after they lost the division. So
right.
I don't even count 2022.
No, I hear you. And I think you responded to Henry, who said, we all know Lindor is a second half hitter. He's going to have his numbers. Well, we don't need his numbers just to get his numbers in the second half. Like
Yeah.
Rob said, is it going to mean anything or is it going to be too late? You know what I'm saying? That's
Again,
what that's what we
there-
would.
there-
That's what we would.
there's about 44 games left before the trade deadline, give or take 1 or 2 games or so. So about 44, 45 games until the trade deadline. That's when they need to play their best because it won't matter in game 112 because half of them won't be on the team and nobody will be going to City Field. And then Lindor can talk about the cold all he wants, but nobody's going to the game. So the wind's going to blow a little harder, like off the water. Like, I'm sorry. It is what it is. Deal with it. 44 games before the trade deadline. How about doing your fucking job? All of yous. I don't name a player, do your job better. That's it. It's very simple, heck. Final
No,
words before we go.
I agree. I agree. I'm just laughing. These guys in the chat have been great tonight, but I'm just reading these comments and I'm just
Yeah,
cracking up. My guy Frank says, I love the Mets, but they stink. Fucking Junior says the team passed away back on September 30th. Yeah, there
I
you go.
agree. I agree. I fucking agree. All right, Heck, give me your final thoughts so we can call it an hour and a half, buddy. Like that was a long post game.
Yeah, I did not think we were going to do this for this long, but we got into this you bashing Pete conversation. No, I'm kidding.
I got to do it
Um,
every day. It's
yeah,
important.
I know. And I'm gonna bash Lindor every day, so we could. This could be a fun back and forth every day.
We
Nah,
need
man. My
CP to like
final thought
cut
is
it
don't
down the
get
middle. We
swept.
need CP to cut it down the middle.
Right.
Talk about
Yeah,
slugging.
exactly. We CP, where you at, bro? This is your
Bro,
fault.
we need you to talk about slugging, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Nah,
Heck, final
man.
thoughts.
Listen, my final thought, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, man. Don't get swept. Can we please not get swept, man? At least make me. I might be going to the game Saturday. There might be a change of plans. I already had the ticket. Someone gave them to me. Shout out to her. Um, but can I at least be excited because we came off a victory? Like I'm lying to myself. Like I'm not gonna be excited.
No,
But
no,
I
no.
just,
I'm gonna give you some confidence right now. This team has been the masters of salvaging series at the very least.
bro,
We've
remember
done
when we
that.
couldn't sweep because we couldn't win the last game of a series? Now that's the only game we win.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Oh
All
man,
right, all right,
I'm
guys.
done.
All right, guys. So it's been an hour and a half. I'm not sure if we even spoke about much of the game for about 10 minutes because
Yeah, right.
Lonzo and Lindor, duh. Like, what else are we going to speak about except the two biggest
Oh my
names on
gosh.
the team? With that said,
Yes, Frank,
Hector,
release. My bad, Rob. Release Adrian House. Yo, bro, I was gonna say that. We didn't talk about the game, but that's something that I wanted to ask you though. No more Adrian House is starting unless everybody's hurt, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because, like I said, they just promoted Tidwell. I think Tidwell, as soon as he's ready, is going to fill his spot, in my
Listen, Rob,
opinion.
I don't give a shit if you pitch. I
Hey,
don't need to
listen, I can
see
throw a
Adrian
hard
Hauser
65,
start
baby.
another game.
I can throw a hard
And
65 miles an hour, baby. I'm ready.
listen, I'll take that. But I mean, I know, and everybody, I'm surprised nobody's mentioned it here. I know everybody's been upset about Budo going down. Bring the kid back up. Listen, I understand why they send him down there, work on his stuff, command, whatever the case may be. Next time around, bring him back up. Enough of
Correct.
this Adrian Hauser crap. Let him get
Agreed.
long in the bullpen, stretched out or whatever the case may be, and have him be that other long guy. You know what I mean? Now that Reed Garrett has stepped up also. But I don't trust Adrian Hauser in any role whatsoever. So I agree, Frank. Release his ass if they could, but you know they're not gonna do that. They're gonna try to
No, I
arm.
don't think so because he has years left on a contract. Because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think
That's
fans
just
like
us
him.
fans talking shit.
He might be a good long man, to be honest with you, because he was really good with the Brewers in the bullpen,
Right.
not
So
really as a
so
starter. So maybe it'll help, especially
yeah,
with
put
Early not being there either.
absolutely. Put him back in that role. But I'm sorry to interrupt, man. And yo,
That's
guys,
right.
thank you so much. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I couldn't stream it today on my X account because I just don't have it together. But Darren, thank you, man. Thank you for saying we did a great job. We did an okay job. At least I did a okay job. Rob carried us like always. But have a good
You
night,
know,
everybody, and thank you.
Alonzo carried us. Come on.
There you go.
That's it, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you next time. Hector, I always appreciate you filling in for us.
Thank you, brother.
Every time, next time, guys, have a good night. Let's go, Mets. Let's see if we can salvage a victory tomorrow. Have a good night.
LFGM.